Welcome, everybody, to this week's edition of Toxic Couch TV. This was a super chaotic week, and it's going to be so exciting to talk about with you guys. This is my great friend here, Colton Heinrich. I'm Alex Blackwood. Super excited to get into it with you guys today. Colton, your Packers had a bye week. How did it feel not having a team to watch this week?
It felt good not to watch a team lose or to tie. I can tell you that much for sure. That was definitely a win. It was a win among wins, let's put it that way. I was very happy to have to not have the stress. I was able to go to work, have the ability to make a little bit of money and not focus on football too much. So if my takes seem a little bit worse than usual, it's because I didn't watch as much football as I normally do.
Well, glad to hear that the Packers didn't lose or tie this week. Mm-hmm. But meanwhile, my team, the Indianapolis Colts, they put straight belt to booty.
Yes, they did. They did so well this week.
So it was just a great week overall. The Raiders did have one drive where Ashton Jennings looked really, really nice, and he was joined with Zaire Franklin, and that's where I thought, hey, we're going to lose this game. We can't be behaving like this.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. 40 straight points. 40 straight.
It doesn't help that Geno Smith kind of sucks.
Yeah, we will definitely be getting to that later in our headlines. He threw one of the worst interceptions I've ever seen on Sunday, and I don't have much else to say. I know these are supposed to be a little bit longer of discussions, but that's kind of hard to do when you just put straight belt and you can't really find anything bad to really focus on. Right. This was quite a bounce back week.
Right.
This was something I was really looking forward to. It was so good that we even managed to put in Anthony Richardson for the second time in 3 weeks. And guess what? He even completed a pass to himself.
Yay, AR. Nice job, dude.
Very proud of you, Anthony. Very glad that you're developing.
Yes, developing very well behind Danny Dimes. People are saying that he is the best nickname in all of football history with Indiana Jones, which is crazy because he already had a great nickname in Danny Dimes. So the fact that we're getting to a point where everybody's saying, but Indiana Jones is so much better. I have a few questions, though, for you, for this Colts team. Do you think it's sustainable? After 5 weeks, do you think, hey, I'm in a comfortable point where I think we're going to sustain this?
So looking at our schedule, we got Cardinals, Chargers, very injured Chargers,
yes,
and the Titans, Pittsburgh, and Atlanta. I think we have a 9-7 win game expectation by the time we hit our bye, especially with our Germany game. That should be, we're the designated home team in that, so we should be a winner in that one. I think we should be around 9-1 to 7-3 range by the time we hit our Week 11 bye. After that, it could be hard. We got Chiefs, Texans twice, Jaguars twice, who we'll talk about later have looked
they look
phenomenal.
They look great.
Week 15, we got the Hawks. Week 16, the Niners. I'm hoping to be able to go to that game. And then, Jaguars and Texans again at the end.
You mentioned wanting to go to a game. Would you ever consider, maybe not now while we're still in college, but would you ever consider going overseas to see a game? Like if the Colts play in Germany again, would you say, hey, we've got the money, let's go do this?
If I had the money, I absolutely would. But we don't.
No, but it feels like a dream to go watch a football game overseas. I would love to experience a different culture while also experiencing what our culture is like over there for them.
Especially when Goodell talks all the time about how there's going to be NFL teams coming there, even like staying there, like a London franchise.
Yeah, that would be a really cool thing, and maybe something we should shoot for in the off season this year is look at where franchises could possibly expand to, or where we would expect franchises to move. That would be a fun thing for the off season.
That would be exciting. And with that, let's get into. We got a lot of headlines this week. Trades have started to really come in, and we'll get to those. But we got to react to some of these other finishes here first, starting with the Thursday night game between the Niners and the Rams. Has Sean McVay, with that play call, has he changed the course of the Rams season?
The Rams, I thought, looked like one of the best teams, not only on paper, but on the field and on film. Then, quite frankly, they've looked almost better than everybody else that they've played. They've just come out on the losing end. This week did not look that way. It looked like the coaching was stale. It looked like Kyle Shanahan had McVay's number. It quite frankly looked like McVay was trying to out-coach somebody he clearly could not. I believe that the way that game ended is a reflection of the coaching on both sides compared to Shanahan and McVay, right? Especially when you've got a backup quarterback playing like Mac Jones, who people are having conversations this week. We're not going to buy into those conversations about Mac Jones being the starter. It's not time for that yet. You can't lose your job due to injury like that. That's not fair to Brock Purdy. So I don't want to buy into that quite
I
yet.
don't know if it's fair for Brock Purdy, but I absolutely think it's fair to say that he would start on a fair amount of other teams.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that if you put Mac Jones on a team like the Saints, he's absolutely the starter today. I just have a lot of issues with how do you put it? I have a lot of issues with the idea that Brock Purdy, who has been stellar, even, correct me if I'm wrong, made it to a Super Bowl, right? Am I wrong?
Absolutely made it to a Super Bowl.
I'm just making sure I'm right. Brock Purdy made it to a Super Bowl, and they're still talking the fact that he could get benched for Mac Jones. I don't believe it yet. I literally can't believe it.
I think it's ridiculous myself. I don't see any world where Brock Purdy should be benched. I do think Mac Jones should have a goal for himself to maybe join another team and solidify a QB1 job. I think the Patriots may have given up on him way too quick.
Yeah.
I think this guy still has a lot more left in the tank.
Yeah, of course.
We're going to shift away from the Niners and the Rams, and we're going to shift to another team that we have much more concerns about, and that team being the Baltimore Ravens.
Oh, man, do they look bad, Alex. And on paper, so I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant here. On paper, they look like one of the best teams in all of football. You have Derrick Henry. You have Lamar Jackson. Their defense is supposed to be stacked. They made a trade for Jair Alexander, who's supposed to be very good in his position, right? We're 5 weeks in, and they are 1-4. And 2 of those losses have been in 3, actually. 3 of those losses have been in very embarrassing fashion. Week 1 to the Bills was rough. Blowing that big of a lead, very rough for them. And it's not they haven't looked like the same Ravens team that we expected to see this season since then. Derrick Henry has looked like he's lost a step or 1,000 of them. Lamar didn't play this week, but while he was playing, he didn't look great. Cooper Rush is expected to possibly be in again this week. How do they win?
Jair Alexander, I think that the whole defense has just been a pain to watch. I think they have a lot of veterans that just might not quite have it anymore. Like, when we watched the pass rush when I was down by you for Baltimore against the Kansas City Chiefs, I just couldn't stand to watch that pass rush. It was ridiculous. And then I was watching Jair Alexander against the Houston defense. He was burnt toast the whole time.
It doesn't make any sense, though. They should have good pass rushers. That's the thing. They've got Roquan Smith on that team, correct me if I'm wrong.
They do.
I mean, he's been stellar throughout his entire career, not only getting after the quarterback, but dropping back into coverage. He should have been a guy making an impact, but he just didn't.
They also have Kyle Van Noy, too.
Exactly.
And they also did just trade away one of their edge rushers, which we'll get to in a little bit when we talk about our little trade center this week.
My question, did you see the Jair Alexander thing when he was fighting for the ball on the sideline, making himself look like an idiot?
Yeah, when he literally was burnt toast. That's the play I was talking about before.
And then he still has the gall to, like, puff out his chest and try to take the ball from the receiver. Like, I mean, come on. Jair, I'm very thankful that we got rid of him because he's only played in 2 games this year for the Ravens. That every single day I think the Packers won that more and more.
There are certainly a lot of washed players on that Ravens team right now. It looks Let's talk about another watch player, though, and that guy's name is Geno Smith.
Oof. Geno looks terrible.
Yeah.
Geno looks terrible. No touchdowns scored, only field goals this week. Geno had how many picks?
2.
Brutal. And
they're already his ratio for touchdowns and interceptions.
What is it?
6-7. I kid you not. He has 6 touchdowns and 7 interceptions right now. With 2 on Sunday.
We're falling for the brain rot on this program, folks. Oh no!
And one of the interceptions that he had on Sunday, genuinely one of the worst I had ever seen. So Trey Tucker was going straight out and was wide open. But yet, I don't know if Geno Smith just threw an inaccurate ball, but he decided to go to the inside guy that was also there, which 2 Colts were covering. That was double coverage versus wide open. And that gets picked off by an undrafted rookie who nearly got a pick 6 if he didn't step out of bounds.
I don't quite understand why. And did you see the reports this week that Geno is still going to remain the starter?
Oh, yeah, I absolutely saw
Pete Carroll is dedicated to this guy. Oh, man, there's not even talks that they could go out and get somebody. Their season might as well be done if they're going to keep Geno at quarterback. It feels like they've got a lot of talent around Geno, but just not anything in the quarterback position to get it done. Do you know what it feels like to me? It feels like to me a couple of years ago when they went out and got Jimmy Garoppolo, and then that didn't pan out. That's how I feel like the Raiders did it a few years ago, and now we're having the same conversation about a different guy.
I feel like it's a different story, though, because this QB and head coach duo did once work. Remember 3 years ago when the Seattle Seahawks were projected to be the worst team in the league, and Geno Smith led them to the playoffs.
Right, yeah, Geno did look good that year, but one-hit wonder maybe? He's been a journeyman and a backup quarterback for most of his career.
More like 3-hit wonder because he had multiple winning seasons in Seattle.
But that's like Fitzmagic. Fitzmagic had good seasons here and there, but was still a journeyman, the journeyman of all time. Mm-hmm. Genuinely should be a Hall of Famer just for how many teams he played on.
Speaking of Fitzpatrick, I literally muted the Thursday night crew this week. I couldn't stand it.
I muted Sunday night. After I heard Collinsworth and Tirico, I had to turn it off. Normally, I like that booth normally.
No.
It was so bad watching that game.
No!
No, I turned it off. As soon as I heard Tirico say big backs, I was like, I'm done. When referring to the offensive line. It was either Tirico or Collinsworth, and he was just like, those big backs down there. I was like, I'm done. I muted it.
Well, you brought up Sunday night. So now we got to bring up a quarterback who really made his mark and really solidified his future with a franchise, and his name is Drake May.
Second coming of Tom Brady?
I'm not sure. It's looking like it. More games like that.
Yeah, absolutely. He put it on the Bills this week for sure. The Bills did everything that they could, and their offense was stalled out. I mean, you're talking about the offensive side of the ball for the Patriots. What about the defensive side of the ball for the Patriots? They did a phenomenal job keeping Josh Allen and this dynamic Bills offense to a reduced score compared to normal.
They did absolutely excellent, and we're going to talk about our power rankings later. I think you disrespected them.
They've still got a few games left to prove. In-division games, in my opinion, have a little bit less meaning, and you'll see that in the power rankings, why our team that we put at number 1 this week is number 1.
Well, good to hear. So we now get into some more darker news in the NFL with Emari Demercado. He fumbled at the goal line, as all of you have probably seen. Did not learn from Adonai Mitchell at all. And in response, Jonathan Gannon literally punched this dude and received a $100,000 fine from the Cardinals organization.
All right, so I just genuinely want to sit here and have a real conversation about this. How, just from your perspective, how do you let that happen? How do you let it slide? if you're the owner or the GM of an organization, especially an organization that has had very high expectations on them the past few years, how do you not see that? Very clearly mistreating a player and clearly sideline misconduct. Worse than many we've seen. How do you let that slide and just fine him instead of fire him?
So here's the thing, based off what I've seen in social media, a lot of like comments I see underneath that type of stuff says, "Oh, he deserves it. He fumbled at the goal line," or "Oh, this is way softer than football was back in the day." We're talking about literal crime here. You can't be putting your hands on a grown man.
Exactly. Did Vince Lombardi ever go up and punch one of his players for making a mistake?
Absolutely not.
Like that's just, let's be honest, that didn't happen. Did any of the greats go and do that? No. Have you ever seen people who have been around? Like, yeah, Tomlin has some heated moments, but he's never going to go up to a player and literally wind up. He literally wound up and went, BAM! It was bad.
This is stuff you wouldn't even see out of Belichick, and Belichick has gotten into players' faces before.
You don't even see this stuff out of basketball.
No, you don't. And those coaches crash out.
Yeah, exactly. There's no place for it in our sport. I genuinely, I was already out on the Cardinals. I'm way out on the Cardinals. I know you were out on Marvin Harrison. I think Marvin Harrison's in a bad situation. But, man, I'm way out on this Cardinals team. Way out. Especially if Gannon's going to continue to be the coach.
Speaking of assaults, let's talk about another assault that happened this weekend in Indy. Not from a player. Not from a coach. From an analyst on Fox. Mark Sanchez is actually facing up to 6 years in prison for attacking a delivery driver. The official charge is a level 5 battery.
Fox is sticking to their guns with this one, though, and saying that we're still praying. Obviously, we're praying for him. He got stabbed. But sticking with their guy here. No official word on them letting him go after all of this. No official word of him getting replaced or fired.
Which I think is ridiculous. Like, you can't be a Fox analyst and go running around having that image.
Well, let me play devil's advocate here. Just for a second. Doesn't mean I particularly believe it. The media nowadays, you have to take everything with a grain of salt. Yes, there's a police report out there. Police report easily could have been fabricated by the guy who stabbed him as a claim of self-defense. Once again, we can't be putting guilty until proven innocent on anybody. So a guy like Mark Sanchez, who has had a legendary career of messing up with the butt fumble. Let's wait to see what his legacy will be after the courts say it. That's my opinion. That's the way that I'm thinking about it.
I understand, but I think in the meantime, until we get a true verdict, you can't.
Right, you can't associate with that.
You can't really associate with that.
Yeah, I agree.
Those kind of issues.
I agree.
So let's step away from the negative a little bit, and let's go back to some positive with a certain guy who did something special on the sideline.
So bad.
And his name is Trevor Lawrence. He managed to stumble his way into a touchdown to win the game and just overall looked absolutely amazing in a thriller victory over KC.
Man. From picking 6 boogers to going out and making a stumble 6. Dude. Oh, what is happening in the NFL? And he beat the Kansas City Chiefs that way, too. Now, a lot of the conversation is on Chris Jones. And what he didn't do. If anybody's seen the clip, it's bad. He just stood up and watched. And a lot of
straight lack of effort.
A lot of people are defending it by saying, "Oh, well, he didn't understand what was happening in front of him.
Well,
he was expecting a whistle."
That's also just what Chiefs fans will do, but you have to play until you hear a whistle, regardless of the situation at all times.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this has been a crazy, weird kind of event in the NFL where It was a crazy week, just in general, honestly. When you think about
you're
it, it was
continuing
weird.
to see that trend where players will give up on plays before they make them. With the fumbles at the goal line, like we mentioned. Forgetting how to tackle. Forgetting how to catch.
Right. If you guys can hear that in the background, Boba is hacking up a lung all of a sudden. Yep, get it out, Boba. If she leaves a hairball on the couch, Maya's going to be so angry. This would be a great time to cut to the Boba cam, but it's not pointed that direction.
It is out of order.
Not really. As of right now, it's okay. It'll be fine.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If she comes over here, we'll be able to see her when she comes over.
Nice. Anyway, let's talk about some trades that happened this week.
Stop! Don't get me started.
There are 3 trades that we want to detail that happened this week. It's like the trade deadline came way early this year. The first being the Bengals deciding on a QB. They choose Joe Flacco.
If Joe Flacco beats the Packers twice in 4 weeks, I may or may not eat my shoe. Or what would be a fun thing to do on the show next week? If Joe Flacco beats the Packers again, what would you pick the punishment?
Don't even worry about it. You're not losing to Cincinnati.
But
you're dropping 50 on them.
There's no way. What if it happens though? What if it happens?
If it happens, you got to eat like 3 whole Skyline chilies on the next show.
Next week's show.
Eat
Skyline chili 3 times at any random point. You've got to just tell me when to eat it. Oh, fine. Book it right now. Skyline chili next week if the Packers lose to the Bengals.
Speaking of which, here's some other trades that have happened. We talked about the Ravens struggling on defense. So guess what they decided to do? They decided to go and trade their own guys. They traded Odafe Owe, a guy who had 10 sacks last season but hasn't been looking the greatest this year so far. He is going from the Ravens to the Chargers.
Ravens need whoever they can get. I don't agree with them trading away anybody, especially in their system. Like those moves don't make any sense to me.
But here's another team that needs everything they can get.
Right.
The Chargers. The Chargers, this is a great trade for them.
Yeah, I love the move for the Chargers, especially for somebody in your division that you could very well maybe see in the playoffs, depending on if these teams can get their crap together after this last week or the week before that. It should be fine.
Especially with all the Chargers injuries, it just sounds like a move that they need to make, at least for the time being.
Right.
The third and final trade that we have is the Cleveland Browns and Jacksonville Jaguars exchanging corners. The Browns sending Greg Newsome to Jacksonville. The Jaguars sending Tyson Campbell to Cleveland.
We'll find out how these kind of trades seem to happen every single year where it's nothing too consequential, it feels like.
Well, these are both very young players still that have a lot of upside. They're entering, their 5th season? I think both of them were drafted in 2021, correct me if I'm wrong. But these are guys that can get hot at any moment.
Right.
Overall, haven't been the most successful with their teams, but still have potential. And we could see some sort of a reset similar to Daniel Jones in Indianapolis.
Right. Yeah, of course. I mean, you hope to see it, especially on the defensive side of the ball there.
So that concludes our big headlines. And with that, we're going to go into our awards. Starting with our MVP, we got a couple guys really contending for this award. 2 of them matched up against each other. The first guy I'm going to talk about is C.J. Stroud, though. He was the main reason that the Texans won in a blowout over Baltimore with 4 touchdowns. Sam Darnold probably would have won it this week if he had won and not made a dumb interception on his own side of the field to end the game. The winner is Baker Mayfield. Baker went absolutely crazy this week. He went 29 for 33, I think, with a ton of passing yards and 2 tuds. Just absolutely dominant fashion for Baker Mayfield. And him winning MVP this week, it's also long overdue. There are so many weeks where we've had where he could have been the MVP, not even for his stats, just for how clutch he's really been. Mm-hmm. The Bucks team just has so much going for them, and he has a ton of help too, which we're also going to talk about later. Moving on to our Coach of the Week. I only had 2 nominees this week just because I had 2 very big upsets that I had to cover. Obviously, Sean Payton was big in Denver's upset victory over Philadelphia. But the guy we had to go with, just because of how good the players looked against Buffalo, I went with Mike Vrabel of the New England Patriots.
Oh, hang on. I got to pull up the graphic. 1 second. Oh, there it is. Oh.
Yeah, Mike Vrabel. So, Mike Vrabel looked absolutely great. The play calls looked awesome. Drake May looked flawless for a second straight week. And the Patriots just thrived on the offensive side and the defensive side. Just a big-time culture change that New England has had over the past few years, and Mike Vrabel has done so much for them.
Yeah. Mike Vrabel, I mean, vet of that program, right? Looks like he's doing a great job out there. I think that he'll continue to have a lot of great success. I'm happy for him. I thought that Tennessee did an absolute disservice getting rid of him.
Moving on to our Offensive Player of the Week. Colton here insisted that I give it to Jonathan Taylor again after giving it to him in Week 3. Yes, it was a hat trick, but we have a stat line here that is way more impressive. And it is the man with 200 yards and 9 yards per carry and a touchdown. And that man's name is Rico Dowdle of the Carolina Panthers. Mm-hmm. He also won Nickelodeon's MVP this week.
The MVP!
Yeah!
He joins greats.
Yeah, he truly joins greats. Yeah, Mitch Trubisky, Dak Prescott, some of the true greats. On a serious note, though, this dude looked unstoppable. And I don't think the Panthers would have had any sort of chance in this one over Miami had he not played as dominant as he had.
Right.
What are the chances that he is the RB1 going forward for a performance like that?
Especially, okay, I have a lot of opinions on this. Probably not any good. So brace yourselves for another analyst with a terrible opinion. I still think Chubb is the one when he gets back. He was injured this week. I wouldn't ride the hype too much.
I think it's something to watch over.
Yeah, of course.
I don't think Chubb has exactly been particularly bad at running the football by any means.
Yeah.
But I think this is still a great story of an RB2 filling in and making so much of an impact.
Right.
That's also part of the reason why I picked him over JT.
Yeah.
We're going to move on to our Defensive Player of the Week. I only had 2 nominees for this one as well. One of which was Devin Lloyd, the man with a big pick 6 on Monday night over Patrick Mahomes. That play by itself just shifted the momentum over to Jacksonville. And it was just amazing to see how he played on defense. Not just on that play, but for the whole game. I ultimately gave it 2.5 sacks against the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line. He has 7 on the year and is on pace to break the NFL record for sacks in a single season. And that man's name is Nick Bonito of the Denver Broncos. Once again, I mentioned he had 2.5 sacks on the week against the Philadelphia Eagles and just looked absolutely amazing.
Yeah, he looked great. This is actually a game that I didn't get to see because I was at work, but I did watch the highlights. I didn't understand how Philly wound up losing that game, but here we are.
I think the main reason was because of Bonito.
Yeah.
Like every time Jalen Hurts even tried to get the past game going for a change, nothing worked.
Do you know the Family Guy meme? Do you feel bonita?
I feel bonita.
That is what his name reminds me of that meme. Do you feel bonito? Yes, I feel bonito.
But he's been an absolute standout. He is easily one of the most underrated guys in the NFL. I never hear his name outside of, broadcast crews. So it's just incredible to see a guy like that truly make his mark against an Eagles O-line that, granted, had some injuries, but just the coaching makes them that much good no matter who they put on the field.
Yeah, of course.
And with that, we're moving over to our 2 rookies of the week. And
it's been a long time coming for this one.
Yeah. So Bill Krosky-Merritt for the Washington Commanders ran all over the Chargers in their victory. Mason Taylor getting his first nomination, the tight end for the Jets, looked pretty good in the Cowboys against the Cowboys. Quinshon Judkins of the Cleveland Browns got me a good amount of fantasy points to help me beat this guy.
You went off this week. You scored 160-something points. 166, was it?
Yeah.
And at one point, I had 160 points, and the Bills' defense collapsed. Mm-hmm. I had the second highest scoring team in the entire league this year, and I am still only in third place. It's fine.
The last guy I want to nominate, just for how he played on the offensive side, is Travis Hunter.
Travis did great.
Yeah, he did.
We were talking about him possibly being a bust last week, and watching him in prime time was a privilege. On the defensive side, he was lined up against Travis Kelce and was locking him down.
Yeah.
Man, he looked great.
You know, I have a bias towards Travis Hunter because he was wearing pink this week. He was like the only NFL player wearing pink this week. And I decided to wear pink today because I really miss when the NFL was pink in October.
Yeah, I wish that they would do pink jerseys. That would be so cool.
But the guy we ultimately went with, his name is Emeka Egbuka. He had 160 yards, 7, 8, 9 receptions, and he had a touchdown on the day. Was just so much, and is the reason Baker Mayfield could even think about winning MVP with Evans and Godwin out.
Right. I mean, and Egbuka's been looking great. He definitely is the best rookie wide receiver at this very moment. I mean, he's been stellar, and you and I in our pre-production meetings have said almost every single week, hey, this is a guy that we're going to have to watch because we would have given it to him week 1 if we were on air week 1, but we just didn't have the time for it.
No. Moving on to our final award of the week. Actually, it's not our final award of the week. We got one more after this. But defensive rookie of the week. This is the more important one we got. So there were a couple defensive backs that I nominated. None of them won. But Nick Manwari of the Seahawks looked really good in coverage against Baker and the MVP. Corey Thornton of the Carolina Panthers, I can say that about him too against Tua. And Will Johnson, who, if we had shows back for week 2, he would have been my week 1 nominees with Arizona over New Orleans. He had another dominant game over the Tennessee Titans. It was just unfortunate how that game ended because he was such a arguably the biggest contributor, and he has such a bright future with this defense. Such a bright spot. But we had to give it to Alfred Collins. He is the man who by himself changed the outcome of the game between the 49ers and the Rams. He is the man that forced a fumble out of Kyren Williams and cost me 6 points against this guy. But at the end of the day, it was just such a great play, and he was so dominant against that Rams O-line for the rest of the game as well that it didn't even matter by that point. He was just clutch and great, and he was everything.
Yeah, I agree. He did fantastic this week. This is one of the games I actually got to watch this week because it was one of the primetime games. He was an absolute game changer.
Oh yeah, for sure. Which brings us to our last award, which is this week. We want to award a certain someone for their loyalty to the Toxic Couch. We want to award them for her loyalty to us as people. And she is just an absolute amazing one. Amazing pet who is absolutely super supportive. And her name is Boba Heinrich.
Yay, Boba!
Let's give it up for Boba.
Yay, Boba! Oh, there she goes. Wait, Boba, you got to give your acceptance speech. Come here.
Boba.
Come here, give your acceptance speech. Ready? Meow. Meow, give the acceptance speech. Nope, she doesn't want to.
Oh, she's camera shy.
She's camera shy. That's why we keep the Boba cam on her and don't tell her. But Boba, while we were prepping for the show, I'll show you guys this adorable picture. Boba would be cute and adorable.
And it was super cute.
It was super cute and adorable. Decided. Oh no, did the stream crash? What is happening? No, why is it not showing up? Hang on. Oh, there it goes. This picture was of Boba before the show, sitting in Alex's chair, getting ready to stream with us today.
She's trying so hard to steal my spot.
She's trying so hard. She might. She's got her own camera. You don't even have your own camera.
Hey, man. Why should I want my own camera when I got to share one with you?
Oh, well, I appreciate that. No, Boba has been a great success. Last week she had her own camera. She hasn't sat over there much. We've got the Boba cam, but it doesn't do anything when you can't see her. So we're just going to highlight this picture and admire it because it may be one of the cutest pictures I've ever seen in my life.
Well, during production today, she had the zoomies. She was rushing.
She was all over the place today.
And then right before we start filming, I'm sitting on the couch working on stuff for this guy. She comes up on my belly and starts loafing on my stomach.
Oh my goodness, she's so cute. She's adorable. I don't know where she went. She just went into the
I think she just went in your bedroom.
We're traumatizing her just by making her show up on camera.
Poor Boba.
Alright, so we may come back to this at another point. But let's get over
to our
power rankings. Yeah. Here we go. Alright. Why is it not working? Oh, here we go.
There we go.
Man, our transitions today are not working at all.
Yeah.
What is happening? Yikes.
So, this clearly looks like it doesn't want to work, but in the meantime... Oh, it's up there now.
There we go.
But you got Detroit, Philadelphia, Buffalo on the top. It's kind of a murky top of the power rankings this week with some of the top teams losing.
Yeah.
You got Detroit, Philly, Buffalo. Most people don't have Indianapolis up this high.
I like how they look. I think that they look like a complete team. I think their defense can get it done, and I believe that their loss to the Rams easily could have been won despite mental mistakes, right? I think that they look great. Unlike the Rams, why they're so low this week, they made a lot of questionable decisions in terms of the coaching and the play calling. And I haven't seen that. Every single game, it feels like the Colts have put together a complete game, excluding one or two people.
I like how high you have the Niners because a lot of people are going to doubt who they are as a team right now because of injuries. But I absolutely adore the depth that the 49ers have right now. It just looks amazing that they've been able to put on literally anyone onto the field and still create a ton of results.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right now it is not looping our source, so let me get that back on the screen for you. Yeah, so let's just talk about the Lions for a second. We kind of glazed over them. They were at 4 last week. A lot of people might be asking, because they are in the number 1 slot, why did we put them there? They've got the same record as the Eagles and the Bills, and they lost to my very own Green Bay Packers, so how could I have the Packers at 6 and the Lions at 1? To be 100% honest with you, since week 1, the Lions have looked like the most complete football team through and through, once again showing why they have had this dominant performance over and over again.
I can't help but agree with you. The Lions have just been dominant. They look like the same team they were for most of the last regular season. They just look truly excellent right now. Mm-hmm. Seattle and Jacksonville round out your top 10.
Yes, they do. Jacksonville I've been very high on all season, and I think they proved why against the Kansas City Chiefs. Seattle, despite the 2 nasty interception games that Darnold's had, I think that as soon as he gets some consistency, it'll look pretty great. Also, hang on. Boba did just show up. Hang on, let's see if we can get a Boba cam going. In the meantime. Oh, we got a Boba cam.
Oh, there we go.
Boba cam.
Oh,
and then she leaves right away.
Bye.
Whatever.
So, Pittsburgh, Kansas City, Washington. How long do you consider Pittsburgh a contender for? Are they going to be that first round exit again? Or do you think that this team is much better than it was the past few?
I don't think they're better than they've been. I just don't think that anybody else in their division is going to contest them. I think that they got off to a really good start, and I think that they'll take that division, and then who they get matched up with in the playoffs is up to them, I guess. And it depends on who they play. If they play a team like the Chargers in the playoffs, I think that it easily could be a toss-up game. If they play a team like the Bills, I think they're getting blown out of the water. I think it depends on who they wind up getting matched up with. They have the potential to win a playoff game this year. They have a potential to go all the way to the Super Bowl in what is probably Aaron Rodgers' last season. So I would just anticipate, keep your eyes on the Steelers. I'm very high on them. Grandpa Gene, shout out to you, my favorite Steelers fan in the whole entire world. Him and I will talk about the Steelers, and I remember at first when Rodgers was sold, he said, I can't handle the sold. Rodgers wasn't sold. Rodgers signed. When Rodgers first signed, he was like, I can't handle this anymore. How did you go through this for your entire life, basically? I said, you get used to it. You only have to handle it for 1 year.
With Washington at 13, KC at 12, Denver at 14, Houston at 15, that was a big jump.
Do you remember... It would have been 3 weeks ago. I told you Houston is the best 0-3 team in the entire NFL.
Yeah, and I didn't really have an argument with you there.
But then they blow out a team like the Ravens, showing why they're on caliber with a team like Kansas City, I believe. I think that I can... Anywhere from 12 to 15 can be switched around in any order, and it doesn't bother me. Just like 9 through 11 can be switched around, and I would be pretty okay with that. And then 17 through 24 is a pretty fluid ranking as well at this point of the season. It feels like no team really has an identity yet. And I hope that we start to see it with bye weeks going away now. I really hope we see some teams' identities.
Rounding out your first half of your rankings, you got the Chargers at 16. Mm-hmm. Do you think the Chargers will continue to struggle with injuries and make their way down the list?
Well, Alex, that's why I've got them so low. I don't think that they've got it in them to be able to produce with the O-line injuries. Justin Herbert, yeah, he's Superman, but he's not going to be able to go out and do that every single play. I mean, look at what happened with Burrow and how Burrow has struggled, and they didn't even make the playoffs.
And now the running game is going to struggle, too, with Omari and Hampton going to IR.
Exactly.
That's 2 running backs now for them that are going to the injured reserve. And the RB1 for the Chargers is now Hassan Haskins.
Yeah, I'm way down on the Chargers this week, if you can't tell the way that they dropped in the rankings.
At 17, you got the Bears, and knowing how you talk about the Bears, this was a surprise that you put them this high.
The Bears. Okay, so let me tell you about the Bears. I've experienced this my entire life. I've watched them go up and down and up and down and up and down. Ben Johnson does scare me a little bit. I think that he has a lot of potential, but the Bears always have a lot of potential. I'm not entirely out on the Bears yet, but I've never been entirely in on them. It's always this, dipping my toe in the water to see if it's warm with the Bears. Is it right? I don't think it's quite right for them yet. But if they stay on this track and they don't do what the Bears normally do, which is go around the coach and quarterback cycle simultaneously, if they stick with Ben Johnson and if they stick with Caleb Williams, I do think that there is potential, especially with Rome Odunze doing what he's been doing. Bears fans, I don't think, have a lot to worry about, which pains me to say. I don't think they have a lot to worry about.
I certainly see the potential. It just surprises me that you put them over your number 18 spot, which is the New England Patriots.
I would like to say one more thing about the Bears before we move on to the Patriots.
Yes.
Bears fans don't have anything to worry about, except for the Green Bay mother-trucking Packers.
Yeah.
Good luck there, pal. Good luck coming to Lambeau this year. Micah Parsons is going to eat. Okay, that's all I had to say.
All right,
that's all I had to
let's
say.
move on to one of the teams that are so low, and I certainly don't agree with them being that low, is the New England Patriots.
I'm not 100% sold on them yet. They're still in a rebuild year. Don't forget that. So as soon as they have proven that they can climb their way out of the rebuild, I'm going to show it on the rankings every single week that they have to climb their way out.
Minnesota coming off a win overseas, but still being below Chicago.
It was quite an embarrassing win, though. It wasn't convincing. It wasn't convincing against a team who had a rookie quarterback who was not doing very, very great. Somebody in chat just said blowing out your eardrums. Sorry, I knew that would happen. That's why I did it. I just want to make sure the Bears fans could hear me.
But anyway, I don't know if that was as much of an embarrassing win as that was just credit to the Browns and Dylan Gabriel getting 2 touchdowns in his debut after we literally clowned on him on the show.
I don't know. Yes, the Browns beat the Packers, but I think that was more of a poor reflection on the Packers than a good reflection on the Browns, and you and I have said that.
That was a different story, I think.
Yeah, but I still think that story is consistent, and I also think that the Browns have lost a lot of credit by losing Joe Flacco.
Atlanta at 20. Do you think if Penix has another big offensive game this week, how far up are you going to put him?
Depends on if they can beat good teams. Depends on if they can not lose to bad teams like Carolina. I mean, come on. We're still punishing them for losing to Carolina in a blowout, nonetheless. Like, come on. They are exactly where they deserve to be.
They get Buffalo this week, so this is a big test.
It's a big test, and if they can do it, that's fine. But if they can't do it, I'm out on Michael Penix.
The same could be said. We're kind of in the same situation with your number 21, the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott.
Man, their offense looks great.
Yeah, I that pains you to say, I can tell.
I dislike the Cowboys more than I dislike the Bears, and I have not been shy of hiding that. I like Dak Prescott. I like who he is as a person. I'll never forget when I watched his leg snap on national television. It will always be a core memory because I remember exactly where I was. Let's just put it this way. I think that Dak's a good guy.
Yeah.
And I root for Dak. I don't root for the Cowboys. I used to not root for Micah Parsons, but here I am with many Micah Parsons jerseys.
With Baltimore at 22, I'm a little surprised you didn't put them lower.
They still have one of the most talented rosters in the entire NFL. That's just, they got to put it together. That's why they're there.
Which they still have the potential to do. A lot of people are saying, oh, this is accepted defeat for them. But I don't think so just yet.
We can't talk that way about anything. It's week 5 going into week 6. I mean, come on. The season's not even mostly done yet. We're not even a third of the way there.
The Cardinals at 23, I could argue you could put them even lower.
I'm so out on the Cardinals. I've already said it. I'm out. So 23, I anticipate if they lose this week, they're going to plummet.
I'm also surprised New York is that high after their showing last week.
Last week was fine. They looked fine. They were on the way down to go win that football game. And then the fumble happened, and Scattaboo and my dearest Scatta baby had a fumble, which, you know, you do with what you've got, and I don't know. I'm not out on them yet.
Cleveland at 25, Carolina 26, New Orleans 27. Surprised you didn't put Raiders at the near bottom after Geno Smith's showing.
They've still been competitive in some football games this year.
Depending on how bad the Bengals, your number 30 spot, depending on how bad they lose to the Packers, could they be number 32 after this week?
Depends on if the Jets get a win. If the Jets get a win, they're going to skyrocket up a little bit because I do think that they have looked phenomenal. And I have said that every single week. They just haven't been able to get it done.
Mm-hmm. And finally, Tennessee at 31. You got some of the teams mixed up a little bit here, but number 32, You got the New York Jets.
That's right. I changed my ranking at the last second.
Oh.
So what I've got here is I've actually got the Dolphins because they lost to Carolina. I've got them below the Titans.
And the Titans did get a big win. Is this the start of something big? Is it finally starting to come together a little bit for this Tennessee team?
No. I don't know how else you want me to put it.
Is it just a poor reflection of how Arizona was?
Yeah, it's a crappy reflection on Arizona. It's not anything about Tennessee. Tennessee's going to continue to lose football games for the rest of the year. Arizona looks bad. Like, they're a terrible football team. That's my opinion on it.
Well, thank you for showing us your power rankings this week. This was a special one.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm actually at the top. I thought we crashed for a second.
Yeah, the stream's been very shoddy today. Spotty, not shoddy.
Yeah. I panicked for a little bit because it just magically disappeared off the screen for a second. Anyway, we're moving on to our feature presentation, which is our weekly game picks.
Yep.
So before we start, we got two teams on bye. Minnesota coming off back-to-back international games. Still don't know why the NFL did that to them. And the Houston Texans. What do you think the Vikings are regrouping about right now?
Hopefully getting Carson Wentz more comfortable in that system, maybe hoping for J.J. McCarthy to get more healthy. I think that they have a heck of a lot more potential with J.J. McCarthy than they do with Carson Wentz because Carson Wentz plays a specific brand of football. You as a Colts fan know this. One play he's throwing it 100 yards down the field to Justin Jefferson. The other is the most nasty pick six you've ever seen in your life. So I don't know. It's so weird to me because I feel very confused after this last week and the week before that. I said the week before that was a confusing week. This even more was a confusing week in the NFL, week 5. So a lot of teams, and I wanted to harp on it this show, and I haven't really, so I'm going to talk about it now, really have not found their identity yet. And literally any given Sunday, there's no undefeated teams left in the NFL. So that's how I feel.
How do you feel about the QBs, J.J. McCarthy and Carson Wentz? Do you think there's a definitive clear starter once J.J. McCarthy gets healthy?
No, and if I were Minnesota, I would have started with Carson Wentz, maybe finished out the year with him, and then gone to J.J. McCarthy after one more year. J.J. McCarthy seems a little injury prone at this point. Seems like he's still trying to figure it all out. Has some absolute flashes of greatness, but what happened to letting a quarterback sit for 4 years and then starting him?
And the other team on bye is the Houston Texans.
I'm high on the Texans. I think the Texans are going to come out of this bye roaring.
This bye week has definitely come at the wrong time for them. This team is red hot right now.
I think they'll be able to keep this team.
Absolutely. I can't agree more.
Yep.
All right, let's get into our weekly picks. I totally forgot to put our records, our full standings in the notes. But I know that you went 7-7 last week, and I went a poor, astounding 6-8.
Yeah. So let's see. Let's reference this to the week before. What was my record last week?
I can't remember what it was last week.
I was 6 and no. What was the record for just last week?
For week 5,
Yep.
You were 7-7.
So I am now, if my math is mathing, I am now 16, 13 and 1. If my math is mathing correct.
Your math is not mathing correctly.
Oh, is it not?
You would be 28.
Oh, that's on the year.
17,
I'm sorry. I was looking
This
at...
is on the year.
Sorry.
28, 17, and 1 for you.
I'll take it.
Meanwhile, for me, it would be 24. Okay, what is 24, 21, and 1, which isn't exactly the best, but I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna beat you and pick them this year.
Oh yeah. I'm sure.
So now we finally get into our game picks, and we start with our Thursday night matchup between the Eagles and Giants.
I don't think it's a close game. I think that the Eagles should manage, but the Giants have been surprising this year. So I would say that the Giants have potential to do this. Eagles haven't looked convincing, but give me the Eagles in this matchup.
Especially when you consider this is a division game.
Yeah.
There have been so many classic finishes at the Meadowlands between these two teams. But a lot of those classic finishes do come in favor of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Right.
Which, if as an unbiased fan here, I gotta take Philadelphia just because of how good they've looked. And I don't know if Jackson Dart is ready to take on the challenge of playing the defending champs just yet.
Right. Yeah, of course.
All right, so we both got the Eagles. Moving over to London. We've got ourselves the Denver Broncos taking on the New York Jets.
Hang on, we're having issues. This is the first time we've ever done a slideshow like this. So I'm going to see. Hey.
There we go.
Hang on, let's see if this works. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we got it working. Woo, figuring it out as we go.
All right. So,
does my hair look like that all day? I keep looking at myself in the reflection and thinking my hair looks like a disaster.
So my theory has been debunked last week with Minnesota's win over Cleveland that the designated home team in international games, in the modern age of international games, would always win the matchup.
I'm finna put on a hat if it does not mess with me right now. Sorry.
And normally I would still continue to stay loyal to the home team. But you're talking about a team that is 0-5
That's really bothering me
versus a team that is 3-2 and has just beaten the defending champs. So I have to go with the Denver Broncos here just because of that.
I'm going to differ from you. Just to differ from you.
Oh, I see.
I think that the Jets are going to take it because if they take another loss, I think Aaron Glenn is gone.
After just 1 year.
Yeah.
6 games.
Yeah, I think after it going 0-6, yeah, I think that that's probably what's going to happen. I think.
All right.
I'm going to take the Jets.
All right. Certainly a risk this week. But we move on to our CBS early window as we start with the Cleveland Browns taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Give me the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're going to go to the Super Bowl.
This is not an unwinnable one for Cleveland.
No, of course not.
I think they've looked pretty good. I think there is a world where Dylan Gabriel puts on an absolute show. Yes, I do think. Puts on a show against a Pittsburgh defense that has been lacking a little bit. But at the end of the day, here's the thing. When was the last time the Browns won in Pittsburgh in a regular season game? I know they won in Pittsburgh in the playoffs in like 2020 or so. But in the regular season, I don't think they've won in Pittsburgh since, I think the year was 2004.
I was born that year.
So was I, actually. So, yeah, I also am going to go with
I'm going to take the Steelers.
The Pittsburgh Steelers in this one, just because of history and just because I still think that they are the much better team in this matchup.
If anybody wants to know why we're looking down, the way that we take notes is on our phone, just like that. And we put an emoji by what game we pick. So every time we look down after we make a pick, it's us locking in our pick. Just so everybody doesn't think that we're antisocial and just looking away from them.
No. For the time being, I will look at the screen a little bit more. Our next game is between the Los Angeles Chargers and the Miami Dolphins.
Miami looks terrible. They looked like maybe they could put it together, and then they lost to Carolina. Give me the Chargers. Miami doesn't have a defense to handle
I think the Chargers are going to get a little bit of a break this week, considering all the injuries. I don't think Miami has what it takes to put it together against a team with the power that the Chargers have, regardless of the injuries. Give me the Chargers.
Yeah, easy picks. Easy picks. All right, so we're moving on to the next game, which is going to be the Saints hosting the Patriots.
This one is also a pretty easy one for me. I'm fully invested in Drake May. I think the Patriots will be a playoff team this year when it's all said and done, especially looking at their schedule. I think the Patriots have already put it all together, and this one should be an easy one. I don't think the Saints have much to play for. I don't think they've looked great. I gotta take New England here.
Yeah, and I'm not going to disagree with you other than I don't think they're a playoff team this year, but I think they're going to take this against the Saints, for sure. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. So I'll take the Patriots.
All right, moving on to our Fox early games, starting out with the Los Angeles Rams and the Baltimore Ravens.
Brutal. That's a rough game. Rest in peace, Baltimore. Baltimore's going to go 1-5.
1-5 to start the year.
Baltimore's going to go 1-5.
This defense is gonna be just saying prayers at this point. I don't see any world where this is a win for them, especially with how many injuries they've had. Matthew Stafford has looked absolutely dominant, and this defense has not. So Matthew Stafford, he will be already an early contender for MVP next week.
Right. Yep. I'm with you. Give me the Rams.
We might disagree on this next one, but this one is between the Dallas Cowboys and the Carolina Panthers.
I haven't thought about this one much until right now. This would be a tough game for either team.
This is going to be a shootout.
This will be a shootout because Dallas's defense is terrible.
And so is Carolina's.
But their offense is fantastic.
And so is Carolina's.
Give me the Cowboys. I can't believe I say this. Give me the Cowboys. I think their offense will get it done.
I can't help but agree. I think both of their offenses have looked great, but I think Dallas has just done it against better teams and has proven more than Carolina has thus far.
Right.
I'm going to take them.
Cool. All right. So moving on, we are moving to
the Seattle Seahawks and the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah. This is a tough game. This is going to be a great game.
This is going to be a great one. Sam Darnold against Trevor Lawrence. This has been absolutely crazy. This is the first time the Jaguars have hosted the Seahawks since Jacksonville, and if you remember the last time these two played in that stadium, there were a whole bunch of ejections, lots of fights. Mm-hmm. This matchup can get heated, especially when the last time these two played, this was LOB against Jacksonville.
Boba Cam.
I know which team Boba would pick, and it is absolutely the team with a cat as their mascot.
Yep, Boba would absolutely pick, right here, right now, she would pick the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I'm going to go with Boba on this one, and I'm going to pick Jacksonville.
I am still biased against the Jaguars because I am a Colts fan. I don't see a world where the Jaguars are 5-1. I think this team is solid, but not 5-1 solid. And I think Sam Darnold has looked absolutely excellent, and the defense has looked very good outside of the Tampa Bay game. Seattle will humble Jacksonville here. Give me the Seahawks.
All right, so moving on, you and I disagree on that one, but I'll give an intro for this one. This is now your favorite team hosting the Cardinals. Now, I must also clarify, the Colts are also one of my favorite teams right now. And I think, in general, because of you, I root for them a whole lot more. Mm-hmm. And I've been very partial to the Colts lately. Alex, I will let you take the floor from here, and then I'll make my pick.
I can't see Arizona winning another game, like, as of right now. Like, I think this team has dealing with so much character-wise. I don't think Jonathan Gannon is a competent coach. I actually think he's setting the team back a lot. This is actually a battle between the Eagles, OC, and DC from 2022 when they made the Super Bowl and lost to the Chiefs. And these two are very, very, very different coaching staffs, and the way they handle and their professionalism is just completely different. With Shane, the offensive coordinator, obviously being the more mature one. Mm-hmm. Strictly towards the field, though, and actual playing of the game, the Colts have literally every edge here. Offensively, defensively, they're the better team in every aspect of the game.
Yeah. Yep, I'm 100% with you. Give me the Indianapolis Colts to win this game by 1,000.
Now we go into our late window, starting with the Tennessee Titans and the Las Vegas Raiders.
Two teams that suck. These teams are bad.
Hate to say it, but yeah.
These teams suck. So I'll let you give your opinion while I figure out how to navigate this crap storm.
I'm going with Tennessee. I think Cam Ward sparked something in this offense midway through the Arizona game. I think this has a lot of potential, and I think this team is better than people give them credit for. I think this team has a lot of upside, and they're going to show it against a turnover machine this week. Give me the Tennessee Titans.
All right. Well, just for the fact that I can, I'm going to differ on you. Give me the Raiders. Give me Geno Smith on the bounce-back week. It's the perfect team to do it against in the Tennessee Titans. They're going to show exactly why Geno Smith is still their guy out there. Geno's going to have a good game. He's going to have a great game. Geno's going to throw for 3 tuds. I'm calling it right now.
3 tuds.
Geno's going to throw for 3 tuds.
I don't know. Maybe
Gentry's going to rush for 1. There will be 4 touchdowns total. What's my base on saying this? Nothing.
Oh,
just
boy.
Wanted to say it. Give me the Raiders in this game just because I want to differ you.
Just because you want to differ me. All right. So moving on to back to the CBS side, we got their.
Gosh, what a game!
What's the CBS version of America's Game of the Week? I don't know what it's called. I don't think they have an official title for it.
Sunday's football something. Hang on.
Sunday's best football. Regardless, we got the San Francisco 49ers taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I didn't have this in my notes, but I'm going to call this the Toxic Couch Game of the Week. The Buccaneers are my pick for Toxic Couch Game of the Week for the 3rd week straight just because of who they've been playing and how clutch they've been, and I cannot pick against them here. I'm sorry, this Niners team has looked great, but the Bucs can literally beat anybody right now except the defending champs. But they look great in every situation. They're able to put points on the board. They're able to play semi-good defense, especially in the clutch. Give me the Bucs.
Man, this is a tough one. I think just purely based off of injuries, give me the Buccaneers. I think that they'll handle this much better than the 49ers. I also didn't find anything, by the way, on Google about what they call their good window of football. Once again, Toxic Couch Game of the Week for the Buccaneers. They deserve it. Baker is literally on MVP train right now. If we ended today, Baker would win MVP, guaranteed. So, yeah, give me the Buccaneers. I think that they look hot, and they're only going to get healthier.
Mm-hmm. So moving on to the other CBS late game. This one is between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Green Bay Packers, who are wearing their throwback uniforms. You like the throwback logo I put in there?
I do. I love the throwback logo you put in there. I love our throwback uniforms. We're going to show up. We're going to show out. Give me the Green Bay Packers all the way. I'm a little hesitant because Joe Flacco scares me to death, but there's no offensive line. We've got a really good pass rush, or at least I thought we did, so hopefully they put it together this week. Please, for the love of all things holy, don't break my heart again, Green Bay.
I've said this the past couple Green Bay games, but I see no world where Green Bay loses this. I see no world where the Cincinnati Bengals are better than them in any aspect of the game.
I don't think so either.
Really. Except, never mind. I don't think there's a world where there's anything that Cincinnati shines over Green Bay in. I'm going to take the Packers.
All right, there we go. All right, moving on to Sunday Night Football. We have what should be a good game, hopefully. We have the Red Hot Chiefs, see what I did there, hosting at Arrowhead Stadium the Red Hot Detroit Lions.
And the Detroit Lions are going to take this one. Not because Kansas City is a particularly bad team, but because I just don't think they can compete with the likes of the Red Hot Detroit Lions right now.
You know what? And I'm 100% with you. Give me Detroit. They are my number one for a reason this week. So I'm with you. Detroit all the way.
Well, that one was easy. We go to our Monday night games. We got another doubleheader this week as the Buffalo Bills take on the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, this shouldn't be a tough game to pick. In my opinion, it's Buffalo Bills all the way. I don't think Penix has it. I think the Bills are going to recoup after last week. Watch them come in and roar through.
Atlanta does have something to play for because they are wearing their uniforms. And this will be a shootout. I'm going to take Buffalo. It's not going to be a convincing one, though.
No.
I think this game is going to be much closer, and I think Penix is going to show the world that he has some kind of potential. I don't think he gets it fully done here.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. All right, and then on to our last game for the Monday night doubleheader, Chicago Bears at Washington Commanders. Do you remember what happened last year at that game, Alex?
Oh, yeah, I absolutely do.
Oh, the Hail Mary that sent a shock through Chicago.
Mm-hmm. So this is the rematch of that, and I don't think the result will differ. I think Washington's offense has been absolutely unstoppable. I'm still not fully convinced by the Chicago's defense just yet. I think with Jaden Daniels in, Washington should take this pretty easily.
I disagree.
Ooh.
And I can't believe I'm saying that. I disagree. I think coming off of the bye week, I think they're going to be pretty hot. I think the Bears might have it this week, and I think that they definitely might have it over the Commanders. I think that they're going to make this competitive. I think they'll be in it all the way. Last year, the Commanders basically ended the Bears' season. I think this year it may start it. I got like little chills down my spine saying that because I hate the Bears.
This is bold. This is taking a lot out of you to say, I can tell.
Give me the Bears in this one. It won't be good looking for a win, but they're going to get it done. I think that maybe you're going to see a sophomore slump possibly from one of these quarterbacks while the other one is going to shine.
So we disagree.
Yes, we do.
One last time to end it.
Yes, we do.
And with Boba back on our screen, Boba really should be getting some sort of mic time, but no, she's
sleeping.
Time.
She's sleeping right now. Let's go back to the Boba cam. Yep, she's sleeping over there. She's sleeping.
Anyway, so those were our picks, and that's our show for this week.
Yeah.
Colton and I really want to say thank you for tuning in, and if you went all the way through, we want to thank you. We want to thank you for tuning in tonight. And we want to thank you for being here with us.
Yeah, thank you guys. Once again, catch us next week, same time, same place. Thursday night, we're going to prep you for all the fun stuff happening in the NFL. We appreciate you guys for watching. This is now week 4 of us doing this?
Yeah, we've done this 4 weeks.
We've done this for 4 weeks in a row now, and all the support, we've been so thankful, so we're going to just keep going. We're going to keep going and hopefully keep growing. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe because we're trying to hit 50 subscribers so that we can just stream straight on YouTube on Thursday nights instead of having to post it a little bit after. And we forgot to make an announcement today about our lost media. So if you notice, on YouTube, we only have 2 episodes right now. And the reason for that is last week the stream crashed right as we were ending it.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we have a little bit of lost media. I am working to recover that, but as of right now, week 4 is gone. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to find it, and if week 4 pops up after week 5, that's why. So, yeah, I appreciate all of you for watching. Like and subscribe if you're on YouTube, and have a great night, folks.
I'm Alex Blackwood, and I want to thank you for being here with us tonight. Good night, everybody.